Jesse is on the dating game. Need I say more?
Okay, Jane, you've asked the questions, you've got the answers. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be bachelor number 1, or bachelor number 2, or bachelor number 3?
Bachelor number 3.
Bachelor number 3? Oh, okay. Why him?
Oh, he seems the most sincere.
Yeah, don't they all on TV? Anyhow, let's meet the two guys you didn't choose then.
The two she didn't pick are an investment banker and an airline pilot. The guy she did choose? Well, he's a sandwich delivery man named Jesse, apparently no last name.
And this would probably go a lot better if he actually came up here and said, hey, you just wait. Jesse. Okay, this is going to get off. This has happened before, honestly. No, Jesse, come on. Let's go up and meet your date now. First day out of that mainstreaming program, huh? Anyhow, Jane, this is Jesse. Jesse, this is Jane. Now, we don't know much about Jesse.
Hey, I have a confession to make. I've always had a secret desire to go on one of these dopey game shows and do something like that, just to see how much of it got on the air. And I have a way that it could make me rich, go down to Vegas and bet all my money on not much. Their date begins with a limousine ride.
This is so cool.
First time in a limo, doctor?
In a limo this small.
Oh, Mozart, my favorite.
Oh, Mozart, my favorite.
Jesse says Mozart's music makes him feel happy. It does the same to me. It didn't do all that great a job of making Mozart feel happy, though. He had a fairly difficult life and died at 35. He's one of my personal heroes because he was every bit as ADD as I am. We both learned that we just don't fit into this neurotypical world. Sadly for him, he didn't have the resources that I do for dealing with his disorder. I have to be brutally honest here. Zoloft is the only reason I have now lived twice as long as he did. Jane is asking the same question that came to my mind the moment the episode started.
So why did you decide to go on the show?
I was bringing in sandwiches, and they needed a bachelor number 3. So I agreed, because television is very important to me.
Really? Well, do you want to write or direct?
No, I like to watch.
The producer who buttonholed him said, "It'll save my life if you do this." Jesse takes things like that literally, and he's here to do good deeds for people, so this seemed like a golden opportunity. Meanwhile, Jane is wondering what a date with an airline pilot might have been like.
Well, I guess I went on because I'm really sick of the singles bar scene, and I've had my fill of blind dates.
Oh, then you chose me because of my vision.
Yeah. I guess that's right. I mean, I could tell by your answers that you see things the way they really are. Like when I asked you the question about fooling around on the first date, and you said, you know what you said?
I said fooling around is for children.
Exactly.
Not the kind of fooling around she meant, but he doesn't know that. 80s American slang is her primary dialect. Jesse understands words like the, it, and maybe and beyond that, he's winging it. I would say let's just get to the restaurant, but we can't. There's a huge truck stalled up ahead and it's blocking all the lanes. Jesse can't have that. Now Jane's thinking, if he hugs me too enthusiastically, he may snap my spine.
I want to make a commitment to be with a man with my whole heart and soul for the rest of my life.
I could never do that.
You and 2 million other men in this town. I love oysters.
Jesse isn't sure what the big appeal is until he watches how she eats one and realizes he should have watched first, then eaten. Much easier on the teeth. And the fact that oysters are supposed to be an aphrodisiac pretty well tells us her method for finding the love of her life. Let me be dead serious for just a moment. It doesn't work that way. The sexual revolution of the 60s made a lot of mistakes. The good thing it did was get people talking about the subject instead of whispering and wagging their heads. But somehow the focus of relationships became about sexual compatibility. The idea is if you're compatible sexually, you'll have a good relationship. This may surprise you, but sexual compatibility is a meaningless expression. It says nothing about who you are as people, what your hopes are, what kind of life you want to have. Think about this. How much time do people spend actually having sex as opposed to talking and thinking about it? Yeah, a pleasurable sex life won't produce a good relationship or marriage, but a good marriage or relationship will produce an incredible sex life, and I'll tell you why. Because when two people in a loving, committed relationship come together, they're not thinking about getting. They're thinking about giving. Giving yourself completely and without reservation to the love of your life is the most phenomenal sex you will ever know. It's just too bad that because of that sexual revolution, Jane is just like millions of others. She doesn't get it and is focusing on all the wrong things. She might eventually find someone she can get along with using that approach, but a marriage like that is only a vague shadow of what it could be. And lest anyone presume, I tried it both ways, and her way doesn't work. Mine does. But it requires a measure of self-control that too many people don't want to put on themselves. Trust me, guys in particular, it's worth it. You might have a little SSB, but trust me, it's more tolerable than having your heart broken because you looked for the wrong things.
Would you excuse me while I powder my nose?
He doesn't know what that means either. It's time to give our male viewers a little eye candy.
Very interesting. The females wear weapons on their feet. I wonder if they use them against other females or males they choose to reject.
If you like wearing heels, more power to you. If you don't like wearing them, don't. Nobody else should dictate what you wear. If we're going on a date and you show up in your little black dress, hair and face perfectly done, and penny loafers on your feet, I'll applaud you for putting comfort over someone else's fashion trend. And besides, they'll be back in style next week, so you're a trendsetter. Still, in a pinch, heels do make better weapons than penny loafers do. Jessie's napkin just disappeared under the table.
She wants to make a commitment with her heart and soul to be together for the rest of our lives.
That is an impractical suggestion and inadvisable.
What is soul?
Soul. Spirit. Vital force. Barry Gordy. Get down. I feel good.
That was thoroughly predictable, and it still made me laugh. I'm to the point where I like this show. I said before that it can't decide if it's a comedy or a drama. It has elements of both. I said the same thing about Manimal, but unlike Manimal, we're finding our groove here and doing a good job of blending the two into a seamless story. In the beginning, for example, Control's antics were done in private, so to speak. His interactions with electronic gadgets were fairly ho-hum. But lately, we've gotten to see Jessie's reactions to such things, and it makes all the difference. It puts the joke into a solid context, and it becomes part of the overall story. The early ones felt like they were put in with a shoehorn, but for the past 3 episodes, they've blended into the story and context and are a good addition to what's happening. Most important, they're genuinely funny. Control singing James Brown is the kind of thing you can't help but laugh at.
Well, it's just that I met someone. And that was after I agreed to go on the show.
His name is Michael and he's in acquisitions, so Jessie never had a chance even if he was looking for one. But something about him tugs at her heartstrings. He's like a lost child. He needs...
Jesse, we can be wonderful friends.
Friends, instead of dates.
And we can help each other and tell each other the truth when nobody else will.
Friends sounds better than dates.
Yes, he needs a friend. And sometimes friends can turn into something more. That's what happened to me. It's not going to happen to Jesse, but since he's not really a human anyway, he's okay with that.
Jesse, I can help find the perfect girl for you. Driver, would you go back to my place?
I thought we were supposed to go to the dancing club next.
Well, there's something I want to pick up. Jesse, do you know how I met Michael? You won't believe this. In Matchmaker magazine.
Before Tinder, there were magazines and other publications like that where people could put themselves out there and try to find someone. Honestly, both then and now, it sounds terrifying to me. When my wife and I divorced in 2011, I went to a couple of dating sites. I had never done what you could call casual dating and wanted to give it a try, just meet some women and get to know them. What I found convinced me to try something else. See, I was never a hookup guy. I was looking for the real thing from an early age, and all the women just looking for a fling depressed me. I went on 3 get-acquainted dates. Not long after the third one, we got remarried and my time in that scene was done. Thank God for small favors.
Well, anyway, I have a copy at my place. It's the perfect way to find you a girl.
Really, you don't have to do this.
If I don't do it, no one will, and that's what friends are for. Look, I have a copy of Michael's ad. Listen. Lovely lady, sought by tall, dark stranger. Independent, resourceful, likes to work with his hands, enjoys nightlife, appreciates fine art. Let us come together to share what is beautiful.
Remember how I said he's in acquisitions? He acquires other people's property. And since she's supposed to be off on her date with Jesse all night, that's her place he's robbing. Jane is very well off, by the way.
No, it's worthless. She did it herself. These, on the other hand, these are from the Ming Dynasty. We'll pack these very carefully. They're worth thousands apiece.
She can afford 300-year-old Ming vases and who knows what else. But he's going to discover something even better. She isn't just well off, she's filthy rich. She's also coming through the front door. What's he trying to do to her? Does even he know? No, not a perfectly good piano. This is a tragedy. Jane is okay, but a certain police lieutenant has questions.
You were standing up there, and they were pushing a piano from way up there, right?
Oh, that is correct.
Yeah. And how did it get over there? Because it's hard to see how that could happen.
I'm sorry, I must have fainted or something.
Given the circumstances, I don't think anybody blames you. Jesse is more interested in how the piano mechanism works. I could explain it to him, but it would take us too far afield, so not today.
But that's when they got away, right? When the piano came flying down, made the corner, and landed way over there.
I couldn't let it fall on Jane.
You know, you hear about things like that all the time. Parents picking up cars to rescue their kids.
He's chalking it up to an adrenaline rush. Good enough. Michael is making new plans.
Want to chalk this one up to experience or go back for the rest?
Oh, I'm going back for the rest. But I'm not going through a window. Oh, hell, Bobby.
We've been doing this gig for so long. Aren't you sick of it?
They use that magazine to find women with lots of money and goods so they can relieve said women of the burden of worrying about all that money and goods.
What about the ladies we're still working on?
We'll wrap up the 2 or 3 with the most to offer. But Jane has a huge trust fund that just matured. Huge trust fund. You don't steal that kind of money. You marry it.
Except in his world, you don't stay married to the person who owns the money. You become widowed quickly and suddenly, and there's nothing to comfort you in your grief except all those dollars. So sad.
Jane's really into this touchy-feely stuff. She's taking a personal development extension class at UCLA. Chapter 3, musical stimulation. Listen to your favorite composer as you fall asleep. Then in the morning, write down your dreams.
She's also into thinking she might be a little psychic. He has plans for that.
Jane? I came as soon as I got your message. You all right? Good Lord, look at this place.
Michael, this is Lieutenant Taylor.
Hi, Michael West.
How do you do? We were just leaving, ma'am. We'll be in touch if we get any leads.
There's a big one standing in front of you, but nobody knows it yet.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Officer?
No, I'm Jesse.
Jesse. Oh, yes, the date. I'll help you clean this up tomorrow, but then I want to get you out of here. There's a string quartet playing Mozart at the Renaissance Hotel tomorrow night.
Mozart, my favorite.
Mozart, my favorite.
Well, let's all go together.
Michael is all excited about that, you can tell. I'm betting he'd rather hear Control sing I Feel Good than listen to a Mozart string quartet. But it's almost uncanny the way they seem to like all the same things, isn't it?
I'll tell you something, quite seriously. I was with you last night, when it happened. I'd fallen asleep at home on the couch, and I had the most vivid image of you in my sleep. Suddenly I woke, and I knew something had happened.
Isn't that amazing? And her book was just talking about such things. What a remarkable juxtaposition of events.
And then you called.
You were with us, but you were at home asleep? How is that possible?
It's ESP, a psychic connection.
Or he really was there and he's playing on her weaknesses, as we know.
Excuse me while I powder my nose.
Do you think if I gave him a quarter, he'd go away?
I like him. I mean, last night he was struggling so hard to come to terms with the crazy world. I could just sense it. I just want to help him.
You might start by taking that viola away from him before he... Never mind.
No. I absolutely insist. Now, not another word about it.
Oh, but I must repay you.
Jesse, you already have. Last night, you saved my one and only girl. I owe you a tremendous debt.
You do?
Well, I can't even begin to repay you.
Michael, maybe we can find someone special for Jesse, too.
That's a great idea. We'll look through the advertisements in Matchmaker magazine. My debt will be satisfied when we find you the perfect match.
That may be difficult since his perfect match probably looks something like this. We get a montage of sorts with Jesse going on dates with several different women and all of them disastrous.
How can one find true love in these pages? A marketplace where humans advertise for companions. What form of commerce is this?
One that you should avoid. This pursuit can lead you into great trouble. It could even prove fatal. My research on what is called romance says the human heart can be broken.
Yes, this body is fragile.
Trust me, it gets even more fragile. But with a good amount of determination, it's possible to work around it.
Even now it is chilled because I do not have the jacket.
As we'll see, there's a reason why he told us that.
Playful gal with zest for life. Loves the great outdoors. Seeking energetic man for fun in the sun.
Hey, buddy, okay, back here. Back here.
Clairol hair color used to do a commercial with people running on the beach like that. The slogan was, "The closer he gets, the better you look." I think we can assume the narrator was talking about the Frisbee.
Drop this.
You dropped it again. I think he forgot he's supposed to be on a date with a lady.
Yes.
Like we belong here.
Do you know, it's always been my dream to have a house on a cliff overlooking the sea.
We could watch the sunsets together. Hi. I finished my date. Jesse, does the expression "three's a crowd" mean anything to you?
No, it doesn't. If you want to be alone, tell him you want to be alone. But I'm not sure Jane does. They'll try again. It might be less dangerous if she throws those balloons she's carrying around. Not his type.
Curvaceous cat lady wants to be tamed by sensitive, attractive, cerebral... No.
Is he even trying? One more attempt and Jesse has had enough.
Oh, that's Michael's car. He must be taking Jane on an eating date. They will be happy for me to join them. He said Jane was his one and only date.
Deception, duplicity, hanky-panky, negative outcome, not good.
Jane needs to know this.
On the dating game, you only get to choose one date at a time.
Well, sometimes one is all you need.
Everybody should play by the rules.
Something bothering you?
You are having 2 dates.
Jesse, what are you talking about?
Another woman has been joining him at the Face. I saw them going into the restaurant last night.
Last night? You must mean Susan. Susan Stanton, the business associate I told you about. It was a working dinner, tax deductible.
What kind of working dinner requires a mutual lip lock? He and Jane are both going to sweep that part under the rug and not talk about it.
Jesse, you just misunderstood. Who would like melted butter on their popcorn? Jesse, would you come help me? Jesse, you really have to get along with Michael.
I don't like Michael. And I don't want you to like him either.
Jesse, I'm in love with him.
Wrong. Infatuation is not love. Love is spelled G-I-V-E. She's all excited because she thinks they have the perfect compatibility. But how committed is he? Jesse just told her he saw Michael cheating and she blew right past it. She says, the fact is, he's asked me to marry him and I said yes.
The wedding's next Thursday and we booked the most wonderful honeymoon.
Jesse's next question for control, what's a honeymoon?
Honeymoon? Honeymoon. I'll show you honeymooners. There is a video encyclopedia on honeymooners that generations on this planet have studied.
Cool. If Jackie Gleason shows up at the wedding, Jesse can pick his brain. Lieutenant Taylor is visiting the happy couple because he's been trying to figure Jesse out. Now Michael is subtly suggesting that maybe he was the burglar.
Jesse is the most innocent, helpless. He couldn't possibly have had anything to do with the burglary.
You did say you came home earlier than you'd planned.
He's the one who stopped it.
Perhaps he had to put on a good show.
He was in the car with her while it was happening. They were right next to each other the whole time. But we can see what a master of manipulation Michael is, and I'm sorry to say it, but she is not the brightest candle in the chandelier.
Been a lot of burglaries of single women lately. We're just trying to find someone or something that ties them all together.
How about a dating magazine? Did they all have ads in one? Ask how these two met and then do the math. But this is giving Michael an idea.
So long, Jesse.
Remember how Jesse said he was cold because he didn't have his jacket? That's it. Michael will plant that pocket at the scene of their next burglary. Jesse does not want this wedding to happen. When the minister says, if anybody knows why these two shouldn't be married, speak up, he does.
For better, for richer, in health. These are good things. But for poorer, in sickness, till death, these are very negative terms for an alliance.
What do you think you're doing?
He said I could speak.
The man has a point.
He's still not sure what he's going to say, but he'll make full use of that fact.
People are crying here for the mistake you're about to make.
Jesse, please.
It's time to leave, pal. Come on. Who are you? I'm his best man. Ah, you are his Norton honeymooner. Come on. To the moon, pal!
That's a cake, Jesse. The moon is up there.
Stop it, everyone.
I only wanted to help.
Well, you didn't. Would you please leave?
Oh, he's leaving. Sorry about the interruption, ma'am. May I say you make a beautiful bride? We had another burglary last night, and this time he left something behind. Caught his jacket on the window on the way out. Does this look familiar? Were any of the guys in your apartment wearing something like this?
Yes, someone was. Isn't that from your jacket, Jesse?
Yes, that is from my jacket.
He has a fair idea how it got there, too. Taylor says you're under arrest. Cuff him.
Vaya con Dios, my son.
He can't clear himself if he's in jail, but he knows exactly what happened and who did it. He also knows where they're going.
You can't force your way into this building.
If I am to prove my innocence, I must find that jacket.
You are here to get along in this society, not to continue breaking their laws.
You can help me. Terminate that surveillance device.
Absolutely not. I am here merely to observe.
If I can't prove my innocence, then you and I will never return home.
Well, I don't have to observe from here. Perhaps a better vantage point.
I really want to be there when somebody reviews that footage. The jacket is gone. We know Michael stuffed it in a trash can. Jesse only knows he can't prove anything. He has to get Michael to confess, or at least get Jane to see the truth.
Oh, Michael, you were right. I'm so glad we did this. You know, it was a charming ceremony. I just hope Jesse's okay.
Darling, why don't you try to put Jesse out of your mind for now? Really, okay?
God, this is a perfect spot for a honeymoon. You know, this is everything I ever hoped you would be.
I know.
How do you know?
I just know. Our psychic connection.
He knows because he's read things like her private book.
That would be the champagne that I ordered. Just set it over. No.
Yes, it's not champagne, it's retribution.
Jesse, what are you doing here?
I am not a thief, and I'm looking for the one who is.
Jesse, there is nothing we can do for you. Now get out of here and leave us alone.
I left my jacket at your home.
That's nonsense. No man in his right mind would forget his jacket in this cold weather.
Nobody did. I put it in the closet the other night.
Then I went back and it was gone.
This is outrageous.
Think, Jane. Who else has been in your place who could have taken it? Who? I wonder.
Jane, he's your friend. You get him out of our lives.
Guess who showed up on the honeymoon? Good neighbor Jesse. Jane knows that his jacket was in her closet. I can't have her telling the police that. We're gonna have to move sooner than I anticipated.
This place sits on the edge of a high cliff, and apparently there aren't any guardrails or anything else to keep people from falling off. Somebody must have good lawyers.
Let me take care of him.
That won't be necessary. I think he can help us. We don't need an accident now. We've got a jealous ex-lover who followed her all the way up here on her honeymoon just to kill her. And then I'll be forced to kill him.
He picked this place especially for that cliff and those good lawyers.
Jesse, you are asking me to believe that the man I married is a robber and a killer? I mean, I've tried to help you, but this is really just too strange. I would really appreciate it if you would just leave.
Your eyes don't see Michael because you're in love with him.
He's asking you to believe the evidence. This is the biggest problem with today's definition of love. It's not a feeling. It's not an emotion. It's something you do. It's a commitment, a permanent one. It's a desire to be everything for that person. Neither of these two has that. Michael is obvious, but Jane is tragic. She's bought the lie that love is this big whirlwind feeling that sweeps you off your feet and carries you to bliss for the rest of your life. And then somebody plows into your car, one of you develops diabetes, all your investments crash and burn, and the baby craps all over you. Now tell me about your whirlwind feelings. Infatuation is right now. Love is long term.
Which just goes to prove the old axiom is true. Love is blind.
Michael.
And just in time. Well, it must be our psychic connection. Oh, come on now, Jane. Your favorite music, your favorite color, your secret desires. How else could I know those things? Let's just say your life is an open book.
My book? Michael, what are you doing? Are you crazy?
I'm just collecting on a little insurance policy. I've waited a long time for this.
Michael, I'm your wife.
Till death do us part, Jane. This would be a lot easier if you close your eyes.
Michael, no!
I was mistaken, there's a rope fence along the cliff edge. Good thing, too. But Jesse can't pull her up because the rope is starting to rub on a sharp rock and start fraying. It's going to break soon. He needs something else to pull her up with.
Take her hand and hold her. If she falls, you fall.
Okay, a lying little worm works. This actress's name is Lise Holbolt. I couldn't find any real information about her, and her acting credits are a little confusing, but I want you to watch her face. That is A-list acting right there. Any one of us would look exactly the same after an ordeal like that. She may not have gotten much recognition from Hollywood, but she gets major props from me. That is talent. Lieutenant Taylor is on the job. Michael and his associate are going to jail, and he'll drive Jane home since they impounded Michael's car. Jesse wants to hang around, and he'll be moving on to his next adventure.
Maybe if you feel like it sometime, we could get together. I could play a little boogie-woogie. You can make me some coffee. Okay.
Her brand new husband tried to murder her. Her castle in the sky fell down. She was hanging off a cliff from a questionable rope. Jesse threw the best man into her wedding cake. All that happened just within the last couple of hours. And he's hitting on her. Hey Google, what does not reading the room look like? Jesse says Mozart's what that means, he manable, both. Yes. Okay. Jesse going on dates. It might be less dangerous if 3 your whirlwind feelings. I can say that.